you had no expectations. Amo lang ang baliskan mo. Personally, I had no expectations from Pinoy. In the first place, I did not vote for him. I didn't think he had it. Because of his integrity, his, I guess, ang iyang genes, I mean, coming from a history sa iya tatay, iya nanay, nakuan siya, naluto siya sa panggawi nga masiling ta siguro insakto, integrity. He did what needed to be done without sacrificing principles, palabiro, though mayo man mag-istorya, etc. No? But I think, depende kung sino upod niya eh. Kung amo na familia and friends, doon mo na siya. Pero outside of that milieu, dulain ang personality niya.
So may public and private persona siya?
I think so. And actually, he was a very private person. And in fact, I think he was very introverted. That's why hindi siya very expressive, in the usual sense. He would say what needed to be said in public speeches. Pero amo nang nasiling nila, Pinoy did what he needed to do when he needed to do it. But outside of that forced persona, he was very withdrawn, very private, very introverted. So, that's why misunderstood. And many people disliked him tungod sina. Ang iya pang sense of inang ginapangita sang Pilipino bilang empathy. Though hindi siya ka-empathize with people, and the biggest example there was, pag-abot sang Sub 44.
Yes. Ato siya sa blessings ng Mitsubishi.
Ato siya sa, You only find out now that, that was because ang iya feeling was they would have fussed over his presence rather than over the arrival of the Sub 44. Wala niya makita ang symbolic essence nga kung ara ang imo presensya, it would have, may lain nga dating sa public nga ara ka sympathize ka with the relatives, the families of the Sub 44. Ang iya feeling niya, kung atuto siya, wala naman siyang may matabo, hindi naman mabalik. The lost lives. And baluman siya siguro nga kung nara siya yan. The tendency is for people to fuss tungod sa may presensya sa presidente.
But in a way, you are like Noynoy in office eh. I mean, diba? I haven't seen you nga may galips to lips ka tigulang nga mama. Si Vice Gov, pidyuga mo na mo. But you never did that.
Yeah. That's true.
But which is very tragic because ang Pinoy, we tend to look at politics as very personal. But we judge our leaders nga daw tupad balay tabla.
Yes.
Or migo ta kainuman ta when, ang governance is more than that eh.
Amo na yung gusto sang Pinoy mo. Amo na personalistic di siya katama. But governance to Pinoy was, the straight and narrow path. Ang daang matuwid.
Which is very interesting now, Gov, nga gin-point out mo na. Because may gasiling nga si Pinoy was a product of an haciendado upbringing. Kaya landed sila. But he is being judged by the very same people on the basis of things that hacienderos do. Ngayon, ang lapit ka sa tao, nga mapakaon ka, mapainom ka. And then they say in the same breath, nga, amo na siya kay ti haciendado sa mo. I mean, you know.
That's why, I don't know kung basahon mo siguro ang personality ni Pinoy. First, a father who was very accomplished, but also very controversial. Of course, the symbol of opposition to the dictatorship. And that happened during his, how old was he? That must have been during his childhood pa. No? He must have been very young during that time. I don't think he lived a typical hacendado lifestyle. I don't even know whether he actually lived in the hacienda.
Because he was abroad.
Di ba? So, posibly nga, didn't even know what an hacendero was like.
Yes.
Di ba? He might have been isolated from that lifestyle. So, he would not be someone, that you would call a typical hacendero son. I don't even know whether he knew what it was like to be, hacendado.
Okay.
He was his father's son.
He was his father's
And his
son.
father was not an hacendero. Di ba? It was more dire sa Coangco side, no?
Yes, kay Cory.
Kay Cory. But he did not live that life.
Which brings me now to the question, you can never assess or appraise a president without comparing him or her to presidents before him or her. In the case ni Pinoy, if we look at policies nga gin-implement niya, how would you appraise him? But then again, with comparisons to other presidents.
He had a good cabinet, first of all. Okay? You have to give that to him. He had an excellent cabinet. And I think in terms of, for example, economic policy, okay, foreign policy, these were some of the elements of his governance that you can say highlight his accomplishments. These were not the products of his own thinking lang. It was a result of having a good team. No? And his ano tawag mo ni? His tawag mo siguro stubbornness to stick to a decision, come hell or high water. Whether it was popular or not, if he felt it was right, sundo niya. No? In terms of policies, I think he made many of the right decisions and he stuck to them. Compared to past and future presidents, you can probably say sa economic policy he had probably the most outstanding in terms of accomplishment. Of course, kabaluman ta, no? Economic development during his time. Ang iya what do you call this, anti-corruption stand, which is probably why he made so many enemies. You know, when he said, kung walang corrupt, walang mahirap, he meant it, no? He went after the corrupt and he put some of them in jail. So masiling ka man nga, he stuck to what he said, which is very different from other politicians. They say one thing and do another. Diba lang? Sa integrity, his attention to details, budgets, for example, programs submitted to him by his cabinet. Munang gina-kuan permi sa mga cabinet secretaries nga, when they had to present proposals to Pinoy, they had to prepare like they were preparing for a, what do you call this, thesis defense. Because he had extraordinary attention to detail. I don't know what it was about his mind. No? Ang emotional, ang EQ niya was very low or very guarded, but his attention to numbers, facts and figures, the minute details, was, I think, without comparison. GMA had the same, what do you call this, attention to detail. No? Because, well, ekonomista siya. And she had I think the same work ethic. Ang masubo lang, in spite of Noynoy's work ethic, somebody created the Noynoying
meme,
insult. No? Meaning, kung ganoy-noy ka,
tamaran.
You're not doing anything.
Oh.
The one who is, or who deserves to be insulted that way is the incumbent president. Di ba? There are many stories about Pinoy spending hours on cabinet meetings all the way up to early morning, just threshing out details. Akigan niya pa na ang mga cabinet secretaries nga bago nyo lang ni pinadalang inyong proposal, why na chimpo basa sini. His impatience with bureaucracy, with not getting things done fast enough, which led to the DAP, the Development Acceleration Program. Ang ila siguro lang tao, we have to find a way to speed up the implementation of development programs.
On that point, ang DAP was never assessed in that sense.
Correct.
That there was a frustration on the part of the sitting president.
Yeah.
Which is very, very interesting because we think nga kung presidente ka, mahimo mong tanan mo.
Which is what I felt about GMA, for example, because I had more opportunity to work with PGMA. Well, I was out of government when Pinoy became president. No, that is how I felt all the time. Just because you're president doesn't mean that when you say something needs to be done, it will get done. There is there's a whole what do you call this, range of bureaucratic requirements that you need to meet before the budget gets approved, before the budget gets released, before the project gets approved, etc.
In fact,
Damo.
fast-tracking things is not exclusive to Pinoy.
Yeah.
Ang current president is or
Every-
also fast-track things. No?
Everybody wants to fast track. No? Ang kanugon lang because the DAP was a measure designed by the DBM, si Butchabad,
Butchabad.
precisely to fast track development projects.
Pero wala iya patsanay.
Well, that's true, no? Kag wala corruption. Okay? The intent was pure.
Actually, if you come to think of it, no one was convicted because of it.
Correct. Gindeclare lang unconstitutional.
Unconstitutional.
So, there was never any question about corruption sa DAP. It was just questioned on the basis of constitutionality. So, disapprove, no? In fact, what did, I think, Justice Sereno say? Pinoy was very disappointed about the decision of the Supreme Court, which included his own appointees. But he never told them, pakiusap naman, pagbigyan nyo na. Never did that. Di ba?
Kaya wala sa mga puta-puta.
Yeah, correct. No? So, again, a stickler for the rules. Well, if the Supreme Court says it's unconstitutional, okay lang, anon mo. But again, the intent was pure. So he was judged on the basis of, the decision by the Supreme Court. Pero wala nakita nga ang intention really was to fast track the development projects. So, so damo other instances where he was misunderstood. And one of the biggest reasons why he was not very well understood was because he didn't like to call attention to himself. Wala siya ipal. Why siya ga-claim sang credits? I mean, I don't remember Pinoy, for example, in many instances nga naga-inaugurate sang project. He was not the type.
And the issue was too complex actually for, for the ordinary masa.
Oh.
I mean, we have to admit it was too complex to break down.
Tuod na, kay lain ang level of perception sang masa mo. Gusto nila makita somebody who is very easy to understand, si Erap, si Digong, nang masilimla de real. What you see is what you get. Si Pinoy, you could not see where he was coming from because muna gani.
Which
No
brings us to
emotion.
a very interesting point, nga ang rise of social media has given a sense of hyper-reality for public officials. But that hyper-reality actually is an invented one,
Kag manipulated.
manipulated.
Yeah.
So the seeming truth sa nakita mo is actually fake.
Yeah, that's true. A manipulated picture of reality. No? So gin-create siya, gin-dramatize. People fall for it. There was no such manipulation of facts
Kay Pinoy.
during the time of Pinoy.
Maybe because maybe because ang sa PCOO was Manuel Quezon, si Manolo, who is actually a historian.
Historian.
And one of them nga nag-work man with Manolo was Justin. Gatuslao.
Gatuslao?
Yes. PCOO man siya eh.
Kagang ilang approach was facts.
Facts.
Di ba? So, well, one would wonder, no? During the 6 years of a president, you would have thought they would have had a publicist who had a different job. Whatever it is you do it like the way Pinoy did it, but leave the ano tawag mo naman, the propaganda to me. Let's create a more positive image of what you're doing. If you don't know how to do it yourself, we'll do it here. But I'm not aware that there was any such publicist
It seems there was none, no?
working like for that purpose.
Yeah. Well, so if we come to think of it, how do you think should Pinoy be remembered?
As somebody who was forced into the presidency, he was an accidental president. Di ba? Until his mother died, no one ever thought Pinoy could ever be a president. Di ba?
Although si Congreg said nga he was the epitome of destiny.
Of
Destiny.
destiny.
Oo. Wala siya may mo. The presidency came to him.
Exactly. Accidental president.
Accidental.
So, he brought with him a sense of integrity that is very rare. Probably what you can call an extraordinary respect for the rule of law. A single-minded focus on doing what is right. I guess extracting the maximum from the people who worked for him or with him. And you hear this from all his cabinet members. They were forced to give more than they thought they could give because he was so demanding. No. So when you think about it, what was his weakness? His weakness was his lack of charisma and his unwillingness to call attention to himself or his accomplishments, which led to his being misunderstood and not appreciated. Ang dire sa piyak, ang iya nga strengths were his integrity, his respect for the rule of law, his insistence on doing what is right regardless. So in other words, I think if there's any single word that you want to give for Pinoy, I would think it was integrity. He did what he needed to do the right way. Of course, as people say, he wasn't perfect. No, there were mistakes, but what administration has no mistakes? Yeah.